Alrighty, so how you doing, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? We are going to take the T-29 out for a little stroll. Tier 3 medium tank. If you play this thing, I'm telling you, HE is the way to go. I meant to have my first shell is heat at 75 pen, 110 damage. Then I switch over to AHE, and the results are definitely outstanding. I had to run my son's account because I've been having an issue on my account, and I don't know, maybe you guys can point me in the right direction, and maybe it's everybody across the board, but if I aim up, let me go ahead and pause it real quick. So if I go to aim up at a hill, let's say there's a tank setting, let me think here for a second. Okay, let's say there's a tank, and let's say this hill right here is actually, it's a flat plateau up there. It's flat. It's not just a rounded hill. It's, you know, the big old flat comes to this. Let's say it's like a big drop off here. So there's an enemy tank up here. Every time I go to aim at a hill area like this, my gun reticle will boing, bounce way up, and it happens all the time. It's not on every map, every hill. It's just really sporadic, and I don't know if it's a glitch in the game or if there's an issue with my game somehow with the mod pack. So I wanted to run my son's account and just check and see if he had the same problem, and he didn't. So I don't know if it's just something, maybe I'm just noticing it in my account and just, you know, just didn't really have any problems in my son's account. But so I wanted to run something just low tier because, you know, he doesn't like when I run his account, which I don't blame him. You know, he wants to have his stats that he did, and that, you know, somebody says, oh, those are good stats. He can say, yeah, I got them myself. Not somebody say, oh, those are good stats. Did your dad get them for you? No, he gets really, you know, pissed with if people think that. And I don't really blame him. But, yeah, so his stats are his stats, but I wanted to run something low tier that really didn't affect his stats overall, so I just ran a little tier 3. And after I ran this thing, I think I've got it in my account. I think I might have ran it twice. I was like, God, I don't think I ever did a review of this thing. But it's actually a good little tank for a little stubby nose. Not the most accurate. But, yeah, these HE shells, I got 30. Oh, I can't do it. I think it's 38 pen. Let's take a peek. That's the first aid kit, Jeff. Okay, so yeah, 38 pen, average damage is 164. So this is tier 3 and 4. You won't see anything above a tier 4, and most of the tanks I was seeing in this thing, I was basically just one-shotting. If it's got light to no armor, yeah, I mean, I was literally just melting through stuff. So as I was driving, I was doing my testing, aiming at rocks and stuff, so I could figure out, you know, what the deal is. That's why I'm kind of aiming behind me, because I'm checking out above, you know, rocks and on building rooftops. I was trying to find out if he had the same issue with his, where you aim up by a roof or rock, something up higher, and it would just, let's say, go ding, ding. And I mean, it's really frustrating when you go to shoot, and all of a sudden it shoots way up, and you just lob a shell 25 miles over the enemy tanks that you're trying to get shots on. But anyways, I go over here where like your heavies and mediums normally would in a tier 10 match, and just trying to see if I get any spots down the 2 line here. So that's why I'm kind of moving in slow, because a lot of times they'll be sitting there pre-aimed. Obviously this is a tier 2 or a tier 3-4 match, but I noticed one bad drawback with this thing. It has really bad gun depression. Like right here, I'm almost on a flat grounded area, and I could not get my gun any lower than what I was setting at. So I had to go pull forward to get my gun down. So just waiting for somebody to pull out here so I can blast them. Oh, and why I was shooting the heat round is because I didn't know maybe it had something to do with the type of round I was shooting. It's really weird, because literally, like, if there was a tank sitting right on this hill right here, he goes to back down, I'm aiming up at him, it'll just, you know, it does it randomly, just sporadically. All of a sudden it'll go ping, and my aiming reticle will shoot way up, like up here. And a lot of times it happens just as I shoot, so my round goes way up in the sky, like I'm shooting an airplane. But it didn't happen at all during when I was practicing and doing, you know, check in my son's account. So these guys come out here, hit the M2 medium once, and then these guys, instead of backing off, he pushes. And an SPIC, or I mean, I'm sorry, the PZ-1C has a very good gun, and the Cruiser 2 and the 3 have really not much of armor. And I didn't want to take a shot. With the accuracy of this thing, I did not want to try lobbing a shot, because more than likely I would have hit our cruiser. But you can see now the cruiser's down to 110 hit points. That PZ-1C just whittled them. And by the looks of it, I'm like, I am not going to get any shots down here. So I just figured I'd go down here and flank them. And you can see the PZ-1C just melted that LTV 38 over there. So we've got 109 damage, and we're loading HE shells now, and pretty much the PZ-1C that was up there, I think that was it for enemy tanks in that area. Basically looked like they were really pushing the 8 line there. So I thought, well, I'm going to stay low, because a lot of times artillery will set over in the K1 area. This is low tier. I don't know what kind of range the Priest has. Or the West. I think the West has actually got a pretty good range. So you'll see me kind of aim over there just in case. Didn't light him. And look at the view range on this. I mean, it's got actually really good view range. So I see that Valentine AT up there, so I kind of slow down and start creeping in because I'm not spotted that I know of. And I kind of aim in the area that he was setting. And we get a blind shot. So that was kind of nice. That Valentine AT has got a wicked gun. Fires fast, really good penetration. Then I see their Artie, but he's on the other side of the rock up there. And I know they got a bunch of stuff setting up in here, so I didn't want to come cutting across here, because obviously I'm lit. Yeah, I see all that stuff up there. I didn't just want to get tore up. So the UE-57 here, I take a shot at him, and I hit the dirt. And he's trying to back up, and we shrink in. He misses a shot at me, and we finish him off. Now I see that BT-7. BT-7 I think's got a derp gun on it too, but I believe maybe he's AFK. Yeah, it looks like he's just AFK. I think I'd take a shot at him and finish him off here in a minute. Gotta love it when one of your better tanks on your, I don't know about stats, but better tanks on the enemy team is AFK. So we're up to 3 kills, 293 damage. I didn't want to cap this out. I wanted to get damage. Even though it's low tier, you still want to get a good amount of damage if you can. So I see the M7 Priest. I go ahead and just kind of pop up over here a little bit, and you can see I'm having trouble getting the gun down. Shrink in and just derp them. Yeah, the HE shells in this 38 pen, most of your tier 3 and 4 tanks have such light armor, you just go right through them. They're down to 3 tanks, and I'm still just thinking, hey, not that I'm trying to be greedy, but you know, I've only done 433 damage, and I'm trying to get as much damage as I possibly can. Now I know these guys are up here. It's just a matter of them getting spotted. Now I see that Samoa S35, and I hit him for 18. Woo! Take a shot on the side of that T-29. We hit him, and we take another shot and hit him again, and knock him out. Now what's... Oh, so the Samoa S35 hit me for 56, and then T-29 hit me for 112. He's using AP, but I highly recommend, really highly recommend using HE shells in this thing. You just hammer stuff and just one-shot it. I mean, I hit a couple tanks for like their full health. So we do 29 damage right there in the match. We end up, well, those 3 guys on cap end up capping it out. But I figured, you know, I'm trying to get more damage. We end up getting... that blind shot over here on the tank destroyer, so I think I did more like closer to 800 damage. So yeah, this is a little beast. Other than the gun depression really sucking for tier 3, I really like it. I don't think they have it in the store, so more than likely if you're gonna want to get this thing, you're gonna have to get they gifted it to us here. That's how we all received it in our accounts this time. If I remember correctly. But you never know. Sometimes you'll see them in the garage or in the gift shop, and yeah, if you see this little bugger, man, snag it for a tier 3. It really is a hella gun. So yeah, if you want to hold on for a minute, I'll have some post-game stats for you. So I'll be right back. Alrighty, so here's the results of that match. It was a Mastery Badge Ace Tanker, a Reaper, Fighter, Fire for Effect, Bruiser, and the XP on that was 1130, and that was on a single. He already played that, and got a did the 5x on it. The WN8 on that match was 6,428. Yeah, the way to go with this thing is just shoot HE. Pretty much you one-shot everything of it, because most of the stuff's lightly armored down in tier 2 and 3. So we hit the M2 for 109. Samoa S35's got some decent armor. I should have been shooting either AP or heat if I can talk, heat at him, because the HE shells only did 47 damage. Enemy T-29, we hit him 2 times for 197, finished him off, and knocked out his ammo rack. The UE 57, spotted him, hit him 1 time for 13, and he'd already got tore up pretty bad. Knocked out his engine track and his gun. Valentine AT hit him 1 time for 170, knocked him out. BT7 hit him 1 time, knocked him out for 171, and the M7 Priest Artillery hit him 1 time for 140, knocked out his gun and destroyed him and originally spotted him. Did 847 damage, got 5 kills and a base experience of 753. Had 10 shots, 9 hit, 9 pen. Did a little bit of splash damage on something since you were shooting HE. Did 847 total damage. Got hit twice, both rounds went through us. He spotted 2, damaged 7, destroyed 5, and made 21,143 credits. Yeah, so I was just doing some testing between my Aslan's mod pack to because I was having some issues with it. So I wanted to see if it was just account bound or if it was going to do the same thing on my son's account. So I ran his account. I just ran a tier 3, just something low tier, so it doesn't make any real big dent in his stats, because you know he wants his stats to be his stats, which I don't blame him. You know, he doesn't want somebody to say, oh, your dad played your account, so that's why your stats are starting to come up. This is actually the first time I've ran his account for him in years. At first, when we first started playing World of Tanks, I just thought it was cheaper to let him run my account whenever he wanted to play, and so he'd get on, but we're talking he was like 8 or 9 years old, so he'd get on and play, you know, 5 matches, and he'd get bored and go play something else on his computer or whatever. So it really didn't, I mean, it did and it did not affect my stats. It sort of did when he'd play like a tier 10, like a Moss, and didn't know what he was doing, drive out in the middle of a field and just sit there and get hammered. But, you know, that's the way you learn, and I let him learn off my account. Then we got his own account for him, and so, you know, I had to really work hard to get my stats where they are now. And I'm not saying, you know, anything against my son. Back in the day, he didn't know what he was doing, but neither did I. You know, so, looked like a couple of monkeys trying to fuck a football. I mean, we both just didn't have a clue. And so it was really no big deal. And then I started catching, you know, the idea this is how you play it, and learning, and started getting really good. And then I had, you know, he'd want to play my account. I'm like, oh, no, I don't think, Austin, why don't we get you your own account? And he didn't really want to, because obviously I had all the tanks in the game. He was starting out from scratch with nothing. And, you know, I told him, I said, well, this is the way you got to learn. You know, you got to start out at tier 1 and work your way up. You can't just not play World of Tanks, hop into tier 10 and think you're going to do good, because it just is not going to happen. And so he was a little pissed at me at first, but once he got his first tier 10 and, oh, cracked my back there, he felt that accomplishment of doing that. You know, it was a big deal for him, and I was proud of him that he got his first tier 10, then he got a second, a third, and a fourth, and I mean, he's up to like 19 or 20 some tier 10s now, and he's got a lot of 9s and 8s and premiums. Of course, I flipped the bill for him, and it, you know, it's kind of expensive, because I got my own account that I spend shit tons of money on, and I spend a shit ton of money on my son's account for him. But yeah, so I was just had an issue with the Aslan's mod pack, because I had to reinstall it today. I kept having problems on my account, so I wanted to see if it was account bound or something on my account. So I ran my son's account, and the issue was gone. So it's got to be something. I don't know how it would make any difference, but it just some weird, strange stuff. But anyways, I think I got it figured out though. So, anyways, yeah. So I ran his little tier 3 just to see, you know, small tier, and just to see if the issue was still happening. And when I ran it, I didn't have the issue. So I'm hoping, I think I figured out what it was. So, anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please click the like button down below and subscribe to the channel. You guys take it easy, be safe, and I will see you on the battlefield.